Right now, the global box office projections for Spider-Man: Brand New Day are pointing to an opening weekend north of $800 million. In North America alone, tracking suggests the film will pull in between $230 million and $250 million over its first 3 days. Those domestic projections are backed up by concrete early numbers. The film has already secured over $100 million in advance ticket sales across the United States and Canada. Demand overseas is tracking at a similar volume. In India, for example, opening day pre-sales alone quickly generated $1.5 million. And in China, advance ticket purchases hit $3.6 million nearly a week before release, pacing roughly 30% ahead of prior films in the franchise. Based strictly on the volume of tickets purchased before the doors even open, this film is mathematically positioned to secure one of the largest global debuts in the history of the industry. But gross revenue from ticket sales is entirely separate from the studio's actual net profit. Before a single ticket was sold, this production spent an estimated $225 million. That makes it the most expensive feature film in this specific, Tom Holland-led iteration of the character. With a $250 million hole to dig out of, the studio relies on a historic opening weekend simply to reach the break-even point. To understand if the film is actually a success, we have to measure this budget-to-revenue ratio against the profit margins of its direct predecessors. This chart compares budgets against net profits. No Way Home's $200 million budget yielded $610 million. Far From Home's $160 million budget extracted $339 million. And Across the Spider-Verse generated $328 million in profit from just a $100 million cost. These margins rely on the multiplier effect, the mathematical ratio between a film's opening weekend and its final growth. A strong multiplier happens when audiences keep buying tickets week after week. To achieve similar profitability ratios on a $225 million spend, Brand New Day cannot afford steep drop-offs after week one. It has to sustain a high multiplier through long-term audience interest. But holding audience attention week over week requires navigating a highly competitive summer marketplace. Right now, that market is dominated by Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which opened to $264.1 million. More importantly for Sony, The Odyssey has monopolized all 70mm IMAX screens worldwide, locking them down until mid-September. Losing access to IMAX screens strips Brand New Day of those lucrative, premium large-format ticket surcharges. Without them, the studio is forced to rely entirely on standard screen volume to generate its required revenue. Without the inflated prices of premium formats padding the bottom line, hitting the profitability threshold will require selling a significantly higher volume of individual tickets than its predecessors needed to. Advance ticket sales only measure the anticipation for a film's release. The box office legs in the second and third weekends measure the actual quality of the movie. Across the Spider-Verse sustained its run over several months by leveraging rave critical reviews to push past audience fatigue and keep theaters full. Conversely, poorly reviewed genre films with massive opening days have recently suffered staggering drop-offs by their second weekend, hurting their profit margins. Until the critical consensus forms, the long-term financial trajectory of this film remains a volatile unknown, despite the guarantees of its opening weekend. Spider-Man: Brand New Day is a pre-sale juggernaut and is on track to clear an $800 million global opening. But it is also pushing back against a record-high $225 million budget and a market restricted by a competitor's IMAX monopoly. This film is positioned to be a massive blockbuster, but the combination of its budget and the current market bottleneck makes the climb to record profitability a difficult fiscal challenge.